vis-a-vis what Nairobi, Mombasa or Central gets?
No, you have to compare because you see, one, when you talk of development, you are not developing trees or land. You are talking of individuals, right? And again, even if you are to correct what is called historical injustice, you can only do much, isn't it? You cannot do that through oppressing others. So therefore, you have to take that into consideration. Those divisions are quite irrational.
Right, go ahead.
Proceed.
But Senator, my next question would be, at the end of the day, that comment by Moses Kuria saying that the president has neglected Central Region. The president is not a president for the Central people, he's a president for the nation.
Yes, you are right, you are right. Well, you are right. In fact, I'm not saying I support Kuria 100%.
Okay.
I'm just saying on one hand, you have to appreciate there are problems in our region.
They are.
They are. In fact, I'm one of those people who have been saying, for instance, rank counties as per the education output. You will see we are amongst the last, which is wrong. There are other parameters to look at the problems in our region. They are real. In terms of even income inequality, it's real. You recall that was one of the reasons that was fueling Mungike uprising in our region. What of coffee? Coffee is no longer tenable. And coffee used to give us, let's say in Muranga, for instance, out of 10 people, 6 people, they do live even now in coffee growing zones.
And
now we get zero money.
The government.
So it is true that we must continue as leaders to raise those issues. However, the problem I have with Kuria, as a matter of fact, he fails to appreciate some of the good work that have been done by His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta. And I can cite them. When I was a member of parliament, one of the reasons I became a senator is because I rode on some of those projects, which include, for instance, roads. As a member of parliament for Kiaru, I've been able to maneuver and get about 6 new roads that have been done in my region. And I'm sure even other MPs, maybe they also leverage on that, I don't know. But as a member of parliament for Kiaru, I was able to pursue and maneuver and get development in my region. And as a result, I was able to spring into the senatorial position. However, and no wonder, I know what is fueling Kuria from where I sit. One, he has expressed his intention of running to become the president of this country. That's number one. Two, he knows politics is ethnic, so that you cannot go and seek to become a president without first consolidating your political base, your ethnic political base. And he thinks the only way to do that is to start talking negatively against the incumbent president.
And Senator, that brings me to my next question, which is the question of leadership. So here's Moses Kuria, a member of parliament, complaining that Central Kenya has been marginalized in terms of water and electricity, yet they're the same people who passed the budget. And in this day and age where we have devolution, then what is the job of the MP, the governor, the senator, CDF at the end of the day? Why are we ignoring all these other things that come into play when it comes to development?
Yes, you are right. You are right. In fact, to me, that is one of the criticism I have against him, that members of parliament, those who sit in the National Assembly, have a huge role in development. In fact, they're the one who give all the other organs of government money. People go and take proposals to the Budget and Appropriations Committee that is headed by Kimani Ichung'wah. They go and lobby his committee to allocate money. So, Kuria, if he was forthright, one of the things he should have done is to go to that committee, or we see him making efforts to bring various amendments to the budget to ensure the people of Central Region are not being oppressed. And so therefore, when you aim jabs against the president, in my own opinion, you are not being bona fide, you are being malafide. Right. What of governors? Governors in our region, from where I see it, they have a lot to account for. A lot of money, yes, notwithstanding that money being quite little compared to other counties, but what have they done with that money? They have been sent in all our counties in our region. So those are issues, in my own opinion, that we have to continue raising instead of just blaming the President Uhuru Kenyatta. Okay,
so Agandra, then on that same note, Central Region has produced about 3 presidents so far. Then there's this notion that we have that development follows where the presidency comes from. Is it time that we need to look at this? Is it a true notion that wherever the president comes from, that's where development follows?
You know, that's the reality. When you press on Honorable Rungu Kangata here on the comparison he was trying to give, I strongly believe that you're right in the sense that you cannot compare infrastructure service development in Central Province with any other county or any other region in this country. Point and clear. Whether it's roads, it is well done. Whether it's electricity, whether it's development of schools, whether it is, the performance might not be good, but I can tell you that those schools are good. Whether it is in agriculture, Central Province is leading in all those areas.
No, it's not true. It's not true.
You know,
no, well, sorry, but I have to interject on this. We take a parameter like agriculture. Show me any money that is being generated by coffee. No, it is there. It is something that is published every day. Show us.
Let me
There's no money in coffee.
All right, let's hear Agwanda's point.
80% of people in Murang'a are in coffee.
When we're talking about specifically about coffee, we are talking about not just the regional market, we are also talking about
the international market, right?
So there are a lot of other things.
Can you compare with sugar? How much money government has pumped into sugar industries? Mumias, I think for the last several years.
The sugar industry is a dead industry in Kenya.
Oh, it's the same one with coffee.
But then we are comparing industries.
We are talking of government intervention in a certain sector.
Okay.
I have told him sugar is dear to his people, right? In Nyanza, right? Coffee is dear to our people in Central region. So we look at how much government has done to us rescuing these two.
So
it's a point.
Let me continue. When we talk about infrastructure, service delivery, I think Central Province, I don't think, I'm 100%, they benefited more than any other county or more than any other region in this country. And whether you like it or not, where the president comes, you'll find development there because the president is the head of the nation. And there are things that he will do not only for his people, but also in the interest of where he lives and the development you want to see his area comes from. And therefore, we cannot compare Central with other places. But what we are... Well,
go ahead.
But what we are seeing is Korea, in my view, just trying to be smart. But again, I have a problem with Korea, not on why he's complaining, but the language he's using. When he says Ujinga, then you, I don't know who is calling Ujinga in this case.
The
is it the president that is Ujinga, or is it the deputy president that is Ujinga? I know that Korea himself belongs to the Kutangatanga group. If he really thinks that Kutangatanga group is launching projects everywhere. And you remember when the president said the deputy president will come here, he'll tangatanga around here, and when he does that, ask him about this development. If he belongs to that Kutangatanga group, why is he not asking the deputy president who is launching all these projects everywhere he goes to launch in his own area?
Okay.
So he's not honest, and therefore, when he also says that kupiga kura tu alafu we don't see development here, that in itself is also questionable. Who is he warning his people not to vote against? Is it against his own brother, who is William Ruto, that he's been supporting, or against the president, who is not going to run for the political position in 2022? So you can see that there is ambiguity in his statement, and I think that we could only think that maybe the women rep of Kiambu would tweet and say that the guy needs to go to rehab should be considered. Was he in his right mind at that particular time, or was he working under influence?
Gentlemen, because of time, we need to close off this conversation, and I would love to do this by asking you, what do you expect in this 2019? But in different scenarios. I'll begin with you, Senator. In terms of this war on graft that we've been seeing carrying forward to 2019, recently, when it comes to stamping graft, we saw what happened to lawyer Tom Ojenda, who was then released. Then there was the whole conversation that, President Uhuru came out and said that the courts are undermining the war on corruption by giving people a lenient bail and bonds. As Senator, perhaps what would you want to see in 2019? What do you expect when it comes to fighting war, or rather graft?
Yes, I foresee a huge public backlash against judiciary. And if not checked, that backlash may morph into an attempt to change the constitution and probably come up with some amendments that may impact on the operations of judiciary, unless judiciary was to get its act together. I recall in 2003 when there was a radical change of government. A politician formed a certain entity which started to do a purge against judges. I recall in 2010, the constitution, the way it was framed, it somehow purged various judges. So I would urge Maraga to read history, that he needs to go in sync with the public mood. Otherwise, I envisage a huge push for constitutional change this year, and maybe some issues surrounding judiciary may come into it. Number two, yes, there will be continued fight against corruption, but politics may somehow become the centerpiece of our discussions.
Agwanda, perhaps in 30 seconds also, whether I can have his comment. Your expectations for 2019, knowing that we are going to have a census, and perhaps when it comes to fixing IEBC as well.
I pray that this handshake will give us a very clean IEBC.
Okay.
IEBC will get out of the way, and they will get credible people that will be able to manage the electioneering system in this country in a way that people will not complain. I also pray that this political, interest between Honorable Raila and Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta will also will also work so hard so that we elect leaders leaders with great credibility, and that Chapter 6 will be observed to the letter. The problem we have in this country is our leaders. When you elect thugs, some of the thugs into parliament, Tots and everybody else there, and you expect them to give you a clean law and also oversight on that law, you will not be able to expect much.
Okay, Weda, have the last say.
On the graft, I think the DPP has done a fairly good job. Now he needs to up his game in proper investigations and presenting serious cases. He's been doing a bit of drama, but now it is time to present serious cases. I must congratulate the Maraga judiciary for courage. If they are not there to protect our rights, a randy executive can smother the nation. So I think they should continue with the courage, strong and able.
Thank you, gentlemen. That's Ambrose Weda. He's an advocate of the High Court at the Central Michael at the